I'm so glad that the animation cards were requested because I had never sat down and made them myself. And now I have, and that's what's up next. Okay, let me show you a few of these animated cards. This is the happy birthday one. There's one stamp set that is full of sentiments. And you can see that it flashes happy birthday. Is that awesome? Who would have thought we would ever do this as a card? So, show you again. Happy birthday up, happy birthday down, happy birthday up, birthday down. Very fun. Now here's a heart one. I just doubled up on the hearts because there's one heart thing in it. And we'll take a look. And that they just kind of flash on and off. Because one is just slightly off from the other one, they almost flash at opposite times. So that's pretty cool. I love it. And now for the one that we're going to make today. When I show you how to make this, because I've already made that video, I forgot two things. One thing was that if you do have a stamp set that says pull, or anything, even just any cute little sentiment here would be fine because people are going to know to pull. I did forget to write that, to actually stamp that today, and you'll see it on the completed card here, but I forgot to stamp it. And you'll also notice there's something else that I forget in the video, but I catch myself on that one. So here's the butterfly flying through the air. And the cool thing about this is I put a sentiment under that you'll see me forget to stamp in the next segment. And that is awesome. So you take and move that butterfly flying through the air. And the sentiment revealed. This is our new paper pack coming in July. Wonder. All right, so let's see how to make it, and you count how many mistakes I make. So here's the supplies that you are going to need. You're going to need some animation sheets. They look like this. They come in a package of 3. So you're definitely going to need those. There is an animation thin cut, but I didn't hear good reviews on it, so I never ended up buying one, but I may now because I do have the right thin cut machine that's supposed to go with it. And I guess most of the complaints that I heard about it was that it was not working on other people's machines. But I do have a close to my heart thin cut machine, so I may try it down the line. But you get a lot from these animation sheets. You can make quite a few cards from those. So it's a lot easier than having to cut them yourself. So then we have some animation stamp sets. Here's one, animated sentiments. And so that has a lot of different ones. Congratulations, thanks, thank you, surprise, happy birthday, hello. As you can see, they're specially made because they have that kind of a vibration look to them, which is what you need to make these. There's also a butterfly one. And I did notice when I was looking at these today that one of these stamp sets is nearly gone. So you definitely want to get it this weekend. And then here's this one with the lion and alligator, fox, and hippo one. So the one stamp set that is no longer available is this one. It doesn't really matter. I am going to be using it today. It doesn't really matter because you can, on these little tabs, you don't necessarily have to have a word that says pull on them. I think people are smart enough to figure them out themselves, but you could always write pull, or you can wait because sooner or later they'll have another stamp set that has something like this on it. All right, so let's see what we can do. I found a couple different tips that really helped me out when I was doing this, and I'm going to just go through. I think there's like 3 tips. So you can make them in any card that you want, but you are going to need to have a template, and honestly, you could make this on your Cricut machine too. So this is basically it, and I've already taped it down, but I'll turn it over here. So this is our rectangle embossed thin cut set. I don't know what the official name of it is, but it will be in the links. And then I've noticed that even though this comes in 3 sizes, the size that you're going to want to use is the medium size here, which is I think 4 1/4 by 3, I believe. And you're going to want to cut out a frame. It's kind of like the shaker cards in that you're going to want a frame that makes it really look pretty at the end. Let me show you that card again. So, where did it go? There we go. So this is what we're cutting out here, is this outside. Now, Close to My Heart also says that if the inside that's going to be left over is the piece that you can use, that you're going to have the your butterfly on, that you'll slip in and out. So the inside piece is going to be this piece here. So you're going to have the 2 pieces from it once you cut it out. So I'm going to cut that. Let me pull my embossing machine in here. And this is the Close to My Heart embossing machine. It is not for sale regular. It's a, you have the opportunity to buy it when you hit $100 in sales. Then you can buy it for $99. So I'm going to turn that upside down. I already washi taped that piece in there so it doesn't move. And we'll cut the frame in the inside. Just like that. This is a good cutting machine. Oops, sorry, I keep bumping the camera. All right. Let me move that out of the way. So now I've got, here's the inside piece. That's where I'm going to stamp the butterfly. And then I've got the outside frame that will just be decorative when we're done. Oops, there we go. Washi tape isn't sticky and is sticky at the same time. I have, I'll just pop that out with my little piercing tool here. There we go. All right, now I've already done this once also in a regular cardstock. You can do it in the print. I'm going to use the regular cardstock when I actually make it, but that's just showing you that you can do both pieces in the pattern paper or whatever you choose to use. So here's what I did. I cut a 5.5 by 4 1/4 of, I believe this is Sundance paper. This is the new Wander paper that comes out in July. And so I cut 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece there. And we're going to attach that down. And that's going to be the background here. Right in the center, I hope. Just like that. Okay, this is what I'm making. Let me maybe put that there so I can show you. And then I took a zip strip off of the top of this paper, this mountain type paper, and I cut that 5 1/4 inches. And I'm just going to put that down here for a little decoration. Pretty close to the bottom. Push that up so you can see that a little better. And then I took a piece of I think this was the same paper, and just a strip down at the bottom. Yeah, it was. And I'm just going to put that in the center because I like the look of picking up that same mountain range in this color and yet still breaking it up with that little strip of stripes. Like that. All right, I just think that looked really cool. So now we're going to put this card together. Now here's the trick that I'm going to recommend for you. So basically they say you can take and you're going to put foam tape on this and put this down like this, right? And then you're going to stamp on this your butterfly, put a tab on it, which I'll show you how to do in a minute, and then we're going to pull this out. And I'm going to tell you, I forgot, as I'm looking at this, I'm remembering that I forgot one other supplier, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. So you could have that as the background here, this little pretty mountainside. But I found that the slider slid a lot better if I popped it up higher on the card. So what I did was made a piece of pattern paper here, but it could be cardstock, that is the same size as this. And then I'm going to put foam tape on the bottom of that, pop that up a little bit, and then this frame is also going to be popped up. So we now going to have 2 levels of foam tape. So let's put that on there in the next segment. All right, now I didn't want you to have to watch me put all this foam tape on, but I got to tell you, I did use the insides of my shaker cards because, you know, shaker card has that outside rim of adhesive, and so you're left with all of this old foam tape. So I used all of that. So I've got this ready. Now, because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, I have to kind of make sure that it's going to go on straight. So I'm going to line up my ruler here. If you're not as fussy as me, that's good. Let me see if I can fit this in here. Oops, it's going to be a little bit lower. So let me go down a little bit further. Fit my piece in. Now this is the background piece that I wanted to pop up just to make the whole thing flow in a smoother way. So that's on there now. Next thing I need to do is put this piece around the lines, which the animation strips. So you want to do the animation strips vertically if you're going to pull horizontally out, right? If you're going to pull it out this way, you're going to put them this way. Now, if you put it on your card this way and you want to put it on that way, you make sure they're horizontal. So they've got to match up with the lines in the stamp set that you're going to use. So I'm going to sit down here, do some liquid glass here, because I found so far this is the best way to do this. I always keep a little pin near my supplies so I can make sure my liquid glass flows smoothly. And you know, don't go too crazy because you don't really want to get the liquid glass onto the spots that are going to show. So don't put too much on. No smears. We don't want any smears. I'm going to put this on, doesn't matter which side. At least I found that. And just kind of get that right on the liquid glass. We're going to let that dry just for a second. And while we do, I'm going to do the last thing. There is another set of thin cuts that you might want to consider buying. And I'm missing one piece here. Here we go. These ones, let me see if there's a name for them. Border tab. Do you have to have them? No, because I'll tell you something you could do to save yourself a little bit of money. If you don't want the fancier ones, you can just use your 1 inch or, well, really probably 1.5 inch circle punch, which we pretty much all have, right? And then you can just use the circle to attach as a tab to the piece that we're going to be pulling out, right? So you could just put your circle punch there and use that as a tab. So, or you can also use your Cricut. I mean, there's so many things, but these are a little fancier. So if you do want those, we're going to be using those. And so I'm going to cut, I like this one a lot. I'm going to cut that out here. Now there's a couple tips on this. One thing is I could have hand cut this or trimmed it on a trimmer, made it a little bit longer on this side, and then use this piece on the edge so that this would be all one piece. But Close to My Heart has it so that you're making 2 pieces and you're going to glue them together. So that's what we'll do today. But you could cut this piece longer and then just cut the end with this piece. And so you'd have the tab be all one piece with the slider. So I'm going to take, let's see if this is too big yet. It's a little too big to get in there. There's another piece. I'll take this on here, hoping everything is showing. And it says about 1 inch long. So I'm going to put it on like that and then pull out my washi tape. Washi tape is good for a lot more things than just decorating, right? So let me just pull that up. And I'm going to tack that down a little bit. So it's right where I want it to be. And then on this particular thin cut cutting machine, you go upside down. So I'm gonna go like that, put my piece on here, and we'll pull that through. This is a long thin cut machine. And I know I'm wiggling the camera, sorry about that. All right, so now this is cut like that, okay? Let me move this out of the way. Now, my particular little slider thing here is only 2.5 inches long or 3? Let me check real quick. The piece that I need for this, there we go. So that is 2.5 inches. So I'm gonna wanna make this 2.5 inches long. So I'm just going to trim it. Let's see if this will show on the camera. So right now it is, looks like 5.5 inches long. So I'll take off 1 inch on each side here. I should be pretty close to it by then. And a little bit there. And that makes it 3.5 inches long, so I'll take off 1. Put 1 inch there. This is how I do it because I'm really bad at math. And yep, so 1 more off each side. That's right. To make it 2.5 inches. And I like to make sure that this thing is fairly towards the center. Make sure I got all this down. So that it slides out a little bit easier. I can see mine's a little bit off, but that's okay. No big deal. All right, let's make our sliders here. Okay, so this is ready for some foam tape. So I'm going to put it on the side that has the oh my gosh. My mind is gone. I think I've done too many of these videos. The animated paper on it. I'm going to trim. I see I have just a little bit excess there, so I'm going to trim that first. Animated paper. Gosh, this is what happens when you turn 60. You start losing your mind. All right. So I'm going to use the thin foam tape that we have that's very narrow. And my non-stick scissors here. And I'm going to get this as close to the edge as I possibly can so that it doesn't show through the animated part. I'm going to get really, really, really close to the edge. Trim it a bit. Now you're only going to want to do 3 sides. So the place where you're going to pull it out, right? You're going to have to slide that tab out. You don't want to put any adhesive on there, so I'm going to leave that side alone. And do you have to use this much tape? No, you really don't. But unlike a shaker card, nothing's going to fly out of this. It's just to make a pocket. So you could use less tape than I do. But oh, I go a little crazy with the tape sometimes. Make sure that that's not going to slide up there. And a last little bit. So I could leave it just like that and it would still be fine. But I'm going to fill it up. Okay, that's almost ready. And the next thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to stand for this, is I'm going to stamp our butterfly. Now here's another trick that's really going to be important about stamping. So I'm going to come right back. So what's really important about the animated strips to make sure, the animated stamps to make sure that they come on right and everything works, is they've got to be very vertical. So look on here. See, these are my little indicators of where that animated paper is going to go. So I've got to make this stamp look as vertical as possible. So those lines there is what I'm following. So I'm going to look on my paper here and try to get those as close to vertical as I can. And that looks pretty close. And then I'm going to put them on this block. Oops, sticking to my fingers. Looks, just a tiny bit more here. Yep, I need a bigger block. So I'm going to go with this one. All right, so that's my goal, is to get those very, very vertical. I grab my black. I love archival black, as you know. And I want it to be very, 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 very dark. And I don't want to have to color anything in. So I'm going to have my foam underneath and really ink it up well. Now I'm looking at this again. I'm going to try to keep it as vertical as I can, because I put this down. And we'll push hard, because I really want to get a nice image on that. All right, let's see how I did. I am on the crack in that. Not too bad. All right, so let's see if I did pretty good. Hey, very, very good. So, oh, I see a little spot. That's not going to matter, though. Okay, now we're going to take this piece. Let me sit back down with my adhesive. Now remember, this is the piece where you could just use a circle instead. And the truth is, I don't like too much that I'm a little uneven on that. So I think I might put that through my trimmer so that's just a little more even real quick. And it won't matter if it's just a tiny bit short. All right, so, because it's just it's a pull tab. So, and then they said to leave about 1/4 of an inch from the edge here. So I'm going to leave a little spot. See, there's about 1/4 of an inch there. Okay. All right, now we go back to the animated paper. I'll tell you one good thing about being 60 is that I can start getting some pretty good discounts. I went to my local grocery store and found out that when you're 60, if you go on Wednesday, you can get 15% off your groceries. And I thought, okay, I can start going in on Wednesdays. So one good thing about that. Plus a couple restaurants. Oh, I did buy some tickets for a show and also got a discount. So even though my mind is gone, I can actually make a little savings. All right, so I'm going to put that right over that other spot, like that. Okay. I'm going to take this and slide it in. Whew. There we go. Boop, boop, boop. See it? See it fly? Now, what did I not do? As I was talking too much, I forgot to stamp first my little Rise Strong. But you guys are going to remember to do that. So before you put this piece on, stamp the Rise Strong underneath on that big piece that was left. Stamp that, or whatever sentiment you want. But if you're going, I'm gonna really recommend that you do a very bold sentiment, because if you try to do little words, tiny words, they're not going to show behind those lines. But this one is quite bold, so it comes in and out really well. See how that kind of slides and does that story. All right, then the last thing is to just decorate. And I have some stickers back here that go with this paper. The paper is called Wander, and you're going to be seeing that in July. So let me see what I've got. I bought some little red ones left, little red X's here. I can't believe I didn't stamp that Rise Strong on there, but at least you see how to do it. All right, and one more. So this is how you do the animated cards. And there is a bigger thin cut to do a whole card, but I didn't do that because then the tab would be off the card, and that doesn't, you know, it might not fit in an envelope. Other thing I didn't do on here is to put the card on the card base. So let's do that real quick. But I know you guys would be smart enough to do that. So let me get some tape on here. Put this on. And then you've made a beautiful animated card. And if you do the right one, it does the, does the fluttering and has the sentiment underneath. Yes, I got stuck a little bit. There we go. It does work best if you go slower. So you can see that. So slow, fluttering, revealing the sentiment underneath. So not hard. So my 3 big tips is that you can always just do your thin cut on a longer piece for this. So cut it a little bit longer and just do your thin cut on there, or you can use a circle on it. I also recommend that you cut a piece the size of the frame as your first background piece. Pop that piece up, and then of course you're going to pop up this piece. And then what was my other? I forgot the other one, so I'll remember it later. All right, you guys, so professional, so very professional, but hopefully you get the idea. Let me know if you have any questions.